Okay. Guy, what is going on? That when you call your bank and you start raising hell with your bank, unless they gave away money that they ain't supposed to be giving away, that's not a good thing. Bank, banks are organizations that you don't want to mess with. Oh, where am I getting this audio from? Do I have something? I've got some audio going somewhere. I don't. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Got a little bit of a lot to talk about this morning. Texas is in the news. Well, let's okay. We know Texas has been in the news for here recently under their redistricting and the Democrats all running away and being, that whole mess. That whole mess. That was something else. And I'm sure I've read where Republicans have walked out when Democrats controlled. And I don't think, if you're a state legislator and you so hate a bill that's coming up, but you don't have a hope in hell of stopping that bill from passing, you've got little choice. The only choice you have is to sponsor a lawsuit afterwards and hopefully have the law declared unconstitutional at a later date. But running away from the state to prevent a bill from happening, honestly, I think you should be fired from your job. Um, I would, uh, as a result of what happened with Texas and these Democrats all bailing to prevent a quorum, I would not mind seeing a constitutional amendment, state level constitutional, not federal, not the national not the Constitution of the United States. But being as I live in Florida, Constitution to the state of amendment to the Constitution of the state of Florida, that any legislator who misses 3 or more consecutive days, legislative days, or 5 or more non-consecutive legislative days, or when there is a coordinated effort by legislators to miss days to prevent the business of the legislature from happening, that they are immediately expelled from office and the governor is to immediately reappoint new members for those districts. Not have special elections, not to do anything, not anything that would cost the taxpayers money. Because it's expensive to run special elections. Just have the governor appoint legislators until the end of the legislative section. Hey, Data, good morning. And that, of course, then would mean that if it's Republicans bailing and you got a Democrat governor, the Democrat governor is going to appoint a Democrat for that district. And vice versa. If it's a Republican governor and Democrats who are bailing out, then there's going to be Republican legislators appointed. And just that threat alone should be enough to prevent this kind of stuff. Now, of course, there would be an exceptions, for medical, all right, hospitalization, this kind of stuff. But once again, if there's evidence that this is a coordinated, all of a sudden every Democrat comes down with the flu, or enough Democrats come down with the flu, or enough Republicans come down with the flu to prevent the legislative body from doing business. Now we're talking shady material. The governor would then have the right, or the whoever's in charge of that body, the speaker or the majority leader or whatever. Hey, morning, Digi. Would be able to appoint a doctor or 2 or 3 doctors to go out and visit each one of these so-called ill members of the House, these members of the legislative body, to verify their illnesses. Now, obviously, if somebody's got a busted arm or leg, they just broke their arm or leg, somebody's recovering from surgery, hey, that's pretty obvious. But I'm running 101 fever and I don't feel like coming into work. All of y'all ain't running 101 fever the same days. Oh, Data, you're absolutely right. Both sides do the gerrymandering. Both sides do it. Democrats seem to do it more, to a greater extent than the Republicans do. I was watching a legislative session last night, and I wish I'd saved it. I don't remember if I was catching on YouTube or TikTok, where a member of the legislature was asking who all was on the committee that designed, and this was the Democrat, or it was Republican asking the questions. And obviously in a Democrat state, it may have been California, I'm not 100% certain, asking who all was on the committee. She wanted names of the people on the committee, and nobody would give her the names. They would say, well, the legislature did that. And she sat there and said, well, I'm a member of the legislature and I had no say in this district drawing. Well, it was the leadership of the legislature. Okay, I'm a member of the leadership as a Republican leadership, and I had no say. And then she talked to the person who was chairing this committee hearing or whatever. Said, "Were you on this? Were you?" Well, no, no, I wasn't. Okay, well then who was? If you, as the chairman, weren't on this committee, who were the actual members of the committee? Well, it's been asked and answered. Oh yeah, I don't remember anybody giving me any names. And I mean, they just went on and on until finally the chairman, this woman, I mean, I got to give her props. She's saying, I want the names of the people that were on this committee that drew up the districts. I want the actual names. And they would not give them to her. And finally, the chairman said, okay, we're going to end this session. Is there a second? There's a second. And boom, the session was ended. And the woman never did get the names. The Democrats were literally hiding the names of the individuals who were on the committee that drew up the districts, the district maps for the state. From a member of this legislature, the Republican leadership, who was point blank asking for the names. I'm not going to say they're a liar, because they did not, while they did not reveal the actual names, they just kept, they did everything they could to tap dance around it, even to the point of ending that committee session. She didn't actually tell a lie. She just never gave the details as that were wanted. And Texas, they've done this deal where members of the body of the legislature, because all the Democrats finally did come back. I think mostly because they wanted their paychecks, because the body decided, the leadership decided that while they could not withhold paychecks from these people who absconded to the different states, what they could do is stop direct pay, and wrote out paper checks that had to be picked up in person. So if the people wanted the paychecks to be able to pay their personal bills, they had to come back to Texas, go to the legislative body to pick up their paychecks. Then once they were there to pick up their paychecks, then they were assigned a bodyguard, I guess would be a nice way to put it, an escort. Texas state police officer to escort them, to ensure that they would return back to the building for the next legislative session. And all but one of the Democrats accepted that for many, many days. And and the one that didn't, she camped out there in the rotunda, sleeping in her chair, going to the bathroom, taking a shower there, and then going back and sitting in her chair. And of course, that just a stunt. She kept saying, well, I'm under arrest, I can't leave, yada yada. Oh no, she could leave. She just had to understand the fact that she would have a personal escort with her. Was that taking things a bit far? Yeah, but this was one of the Democrats that fled the state to another state to avoid having a bill passed that was going to pass one way or another. It was going to pass redistricting. Wow. We don't like it. If you don't like it, file a lawsuit later. Democrats, you file lawsuits against everything you don't like that passes. Stop playing, these games for the cameras and do what you do. Do your job. Republicans, I say the same thing. When you guys play these stupid ass games, hey, morning, Ramen. When you're playing these stupid games, you make a joke of our governance. You really and truly do make a joke of our governance. I can't take you serious when you do stupid things like this, pull stupid stunts. I cannot take you serious. But the bill passed. The Republican controlled state house in Texas has passed new congressional maps that aim to pad the party's majority in Washington by as much as 5 seats in the midterm elections. Okay, let's understand this first of all. They were told by and this is something that's never in these articles, that the state of Texas was warned by the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, that several of their districts were likely to be determined to be unconstitutional in the way that they were drawn. That fact keeps getting dropped in these articles. They keep forgetting to mention that fact. That there were 4 districts that were determined to be, that in the view of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, were unconstitutionally drawn. So Texas had to redraw them or face going to court over it. What's going on here now? Texas Senate is now holding a special committee on the redistricting. Okay. Now, California, which is already gerrymandered the hell and back to prevent Republicans from having seats, is going to do even more gerrymandering. Okay, Ohio. Okay, Ohio's redraw, which it must do under state law. Now, could also benefit the Republican Party. I've said this before, and I live in Florida. I do not like maps drawn to benefit one party over another, to benefit one race over another. I think it is racist to say that you have to draw a map to ensure that there's going to be a Hispanic representative in this legislature, or that there's going to be a black representative, or there's going to be a white representative, or there's going to be an Asian representative. That there's going to be a Christian, that there's going to be a Muslim, that there's going to be an atheist, whatever. When I strongly disagree with that. These maps should be drawn blind to all these considerations. They should be drawn as geometrically the same to include population as possible. As long as the map, each district has the same number of people in it as close as possible, then that's the way it should be. That should be the only thing that matters. And let the people of each district then vote. Don't connect two cities drawn 50 miles apart and have the connection be the highway. And there's 50 miles apart and there's two other districts in between them two cities, just so that you can ensure you have a black member of the House of in the legislature, or that you can have a white or an Asian or whatever. To me, this is that it's wrong, and if you can't tell, it irritates the daylights out of me. I love this here. Governors in Democrat controlled states are weighing a response too, but in many cases are restrained by procedural hurdles, or other practical limitations. Some have already stretched their own gerrymandered maps as far as they could go, making tit for tat more difficult, like Indiana or is that Illinois? Pritzker State and California. Now, what is funny about this? Okay, let me scroll back up. Jasmine Crockett's district no longer exists. U.S. Rep. Jasmine Crockett has much to think about as the Texas Republicans prepare to approve a new congressional map that would significantly impact her district. During a recent interview with CBS News, Crockett shared she's considering running in a different district next year after Texas Republicans redrew a map that puts her residence outside of her 30th congressional district. Crockett will have to decide whether to run for office in the neighboring 33 congressional district or finding a new home. You should not be able to run in a neighboring district. You should run in whatever district your house is in. And if your district, the maps get redrawn and your house is in a district that's already, that there's, another member of Congress in, one of the two of you is going to be representing that district, that new map. However, the latter option is not an ideal one for Crockett. As a single woman who has one income, who's not allowed to make outside income, there's a lot to be had here. The idea of actually buying a new home, we don't get paid enough money. I mean, I'm being honest. I know people who may take issue with that because they talk about how much money we make, and I get it. It's not we're obviously getting minimum wage. It's a matter of when you sell your home, then go somewhere else to get a higher interest rate. Well, maybe, as a member of Congress, Jasmine, you should be pushing to get these interest rates dropped. Get the Fed to drop the interest rates. Crockett shared the current mortgage interest rate is 3%. According to Freddie Mac, the national average is more than 6%. Now, when I got my mortgage, I got it 3.25%. I was very happy because 3 hours after I got my interest rate locked, it went up to 3.5%. And then the next day it went up to 3.75. So I got in there at 3.25%. I'm very happy with my interest rate. Major part about Crockett's decision will depend on how her constituents feel about her potentially living outside of her district. She should not be allowed to live outside of her district. You should not be allowed to run for office in a district that you don't live in. Yeah, really, Raman. Absolutely. She makes was 100 or what do the members of the House make? Last I heard it was 175,000, but I think it went up. House of Representatives pay 2025. Well, serving the House of Representatives, what is their base pay? Yeah, okay, right. It's $174,000 plus travel and housing costs. Okay, Mike Johnson makes as Speaker of the House makes 223,000. Steve Scalise in New York, Democrat Hakeem Jeffries make 193,000 as House Majority and Minority leaders. Okay. So $174,000, the median income of the country is only 59,000. You're making almost 3 times the median income there, Jasmine. So she explained that unlike state legislators, members of Congress are not required to live within district lines. However, Congresswoman Crockett said her campaign will conduct polling to learn more about the new 200,000 voters in a redrawn 30th congressional map, whether or not they prefer a representative who lives there. Crockett said her decision is not being taken lightly. They don't pay me enough to go and buy another home. Yeah, there's that 174,000. Despite the reality of having her district and others represented by Democrats, Crockett said the redistricting plan is racial discrimination, as the districts targeted have a majority Black and Latino populations. That was part of the problem that was identified by the Department of Justice, that they were gerrymandered to start with. Gerrymandered beyond the limitations. Man, you really got to stretch those limitations. But anyway. And once again, Why should we gerrymander districts just to ensure that a black person or a Hispanic person has a voice, has got a representative? We're not supposed to be doing this. We're not supposed to be a nation of races. We're supposed to be a nation of ideas. We're supposed to be a nation of, what is the best idea? As long as we keep saying, well, race is a matter that is an issue that we have to take in consideration, we're never going to get to this idea of being a one country. Oh, damn it, monkey. Now, why are you streaming now? Monkey, why are you starting to stream now? I get irritated when people want to make this stuff based upon race. Don't I know as many black conservatives as I do know black liberals. Now I know the majority of blacks, especially black females, a black conservative is still a minority within that particular racial demographic. But it is increasing. Same way with the Hispanic population. I really find it troublesome that we want to do this. That this is an issue that people are going to live and die on, race. All right. So the next thing Texas is in the news for about here. Judge rules some Texas schools don't have to display 10 Commandments in classrooms. Now, Texas passed a law that they wanted this was in response to schools having gay pride flags and BLM flags and all this other nonsense posted in their schools. And it was happening in Texas. It was happening in Texas also. So the Texas legislature said, okay, if this is going to happen, the best way to respond to this is to post the 10 Commandments in the schools. I'm against all that, including the 10 Commandments being posted in the school. And you're going to go, but Shroom, I thought you were a Christian. I am. I am a Christian. I've never hid that fact. Public schools should not have the 10 Commandments pushed into the schooling. I don't want any religion, and this is because I don't want any religion forced into the schools. Because what when I disagree with that religion? I don't want Muslim ideology pushed into the schools. I don't want satanic worship pushed in the schools. I don't want atheism pushed in the schools. If I don't want your religion pushed in the schools, if I find your personal religious beliefs to be in opposition to mine, then obviously mine's going to be in opposition to yours. And we're both taxpayers. We both have children or grandchildren going to these schools. Just as I don't want your personal beliefs pushed on my children, you don't want my personal beliefs pushed in on yours. Therefore, let's not have any of it. Let's keep the schools back to learning about reading, how to write, how to do arithmetic, how to do sciences, not social sciences. Keep gender studies, keep racial studies, keep that crap out of our classrooms. It doesn't need to be there, especially elementary, middle or junior high, depending on where you're from, and high schools. Now, when you get into colleges should be able to offer those courses. They should not be able to make them mandatory classes. If a student does not want to have to take a racial studies program or a gender studies program, and that's not part of, if you're going for a mathematics degree, social sciences have nothing to do with your mathematics degree. Now, if you're going for a social sciences degree, then social sciences do have a place in your curriculum. I also believe that the colleges should be forced to tell the students what the prospects, the job market prospects, and the pay prospects are of their degrees that they're looking for. Over the weekend, I was listening to a woman who's got a PhD. She's sitting there complaining, I've got a PhD, but I can't find a job in my field of study. I'm having to work, and she listed something else doing that obviously pays a heck of a lot less than a PhD should be able to earn. But what was her PhD? So, it's like, okay, what's her PhD in? She's talked about the years of schooling she went through to get this PhD and her dissertation, the months she took writing her dissertation to get her PhD. And her PhD was in soil biology. Huh? A PhD in soil biology? What the? What exactly kind of job market were you looking to get into to strive to get a degree, a PhD in soil biology? I mean, that's got government worker written all over it. You're looking to get a job in the government one way or another, state government or federal government. That's the only place I can see you getting a job besides that in a college teaching it. But evidently, unless somebody retires or dies, that those job slots are already filled because you got a degree. That meant somebody had to teach it to you. But back to this, you know, a school And yes, I understand the Ten Commandments are the basis for our country, for our laws of our country. Judeo-Christian philosophy, which includes the Ten Commandments, was the basis for our country, for our founding. The original settlers come to our country, a large number of them, for religious freedom, to get away from the dictates of a government controlled religion. And that's a wonderful thing. That's one of the reasons why I don't think schools should teach this. Now, if you're doing a comparative religion studies, which I'm not even sure I like that being taught even in high school. If you wanted to do that as an after school club, okay, that's one thing. But I'm not even sure I want that to be part of a curriculum. You know, who are you going to get to teach it? And how much are they going to push their own personal religious beliefs? So these are my arguments against having these studies in schools. I don't want the tenets of Islam posted in the schools. I don't want Sharia law taught in our schools. I don't want, the tenets of of any satanic or Wiccan or any of these paganism, Norse pagan, whatever. I don't want those posted in our schools. And if I don't want those posted in our schools, if I'm going to not be a complete and total hypocrite about it, then we won't have the Ten Commandments posted in the schools. Now, if you want to read the 55-page court decision, and I tell you, this judge, he needs to 40 pages of his ruling is him just trying to make his ruling as big as he could. He could condense his ruling down to 10 pages. He really could have. But it's a 55-page ruling. So if you want to read it, there's a post to it, link to it. I'm not like I said, I'm not a big fan. Even though the Ten Commandments would not be affirmatively taught, the captive audience of students likely would have had questions, which teachers would have felt compelled to answer. That is what they do. A Clinton appointee. This is one time I don't care who appointed. He made the right decision. He made the right decision. Oh my God, Shroom is actually approving of a ruling by a Clinton appointee. Well, this is the right one. Where am I going wrong here in my thought process? I don't think I am. Where am I wrong? I'm not. I don't think I am. If somebody thinks I'm wrong, let me know. Let's see. So I can close that tab now. Let me close a couple of tabs I can get rid of. And I covered Jasmine Crockett losing that. I am not okay. And I can close this tab. And what's this one here? All right. Now, a little fact checking. A little fact checking. A story that started making the rounds this weekend or this week earlier, that Gavin Newsom, okay, Bed Bath and Beyond announced that they were not going to open up any more stores in California because, according to their CEO, California is just it's too highly taxed, too heavily regulated, too much crime, and it's not worthwhile putting in opening up any new stores there. Well, somebody put this out there as being a response by Governor Newsom's press office. F you, bye. And that made the rounds of social media. Well, this is a fake post. This has not happened. Somebody took a legitimate post and did some graphic design work on it and put it out there. And several social commentators got in there and made posts as if this was real. People, just a warning. If you see something like this and they don't and the story does not contain a link to the actual post, and you can't find the actual post, that means one of a few things. One, the original post was deleted. Two, it was faked. Those are that will cover 99%, not well, 90% of what happens if you can't find the post. It got deleted or it was faked. If it got deleted, there will be people showing the signs that the post was deleted. There will be indications that that post got deleted. But when you can't find anything whatsoever, chances are good it was, and you only see it on somebody uh, um, website or something like that. There's not an actual X screen in the back. Then chances are good that that's faked. Don't make commentary on it. Don't say something that's going to throw your credibility into question. There are too many people from both sides of the aisle who love faking posts. They'll fake a post to make the and when they fake these posts, they're going to fake the post for one of two purposes: to make the other side look bad, and they're going to fake that post by two ways: make the other side look bad by making it look like it's a bad post, or they're going to fake that post so that they can get people to make commentary as if it was a real post. And then look at these idiots. They got suckered in by a fake post. How can you believe anything they got to say when you can't, when they can't even tell whether or not something was real, really happened? Do your research, people, please. I, have I been caught up? Yes, I've been caught more times than I really care to admit to, but I've been caught. Usually because I'm if it's happened, it's because I trusted the person making the post, or I was on a time crunch, or something like that. But if possible, guys, don't be don't verify if you're going to get out there and throw your name behind it saying yes, this actually happened. Make sure you got enough research showing that it did. So yeah, like one of the things that I got caught on, the trucker that killed the three people in Florida, here in Florida, doing the illegal U-turn. Okay, a lot more has come out on that story. One, he did not initially get his CDL in California like I thought he did. He initially got his CDL in Washington State. Then, when he went to California and got his Californian CDL, California relied on the fact that he had a Washington State CDL in part to give him his California CDL. So, plus, now also come to find out that the Florida Highway Patrol did not arrest him on the spot. And he got caught, he and his brother, or at least he did, got caught back in California trying to get plane tickets to fly back to India. He got arrested before he could before he could complete his escape from the States. He should have been arrested at the accident site. He should not have been allowed to leave. 3 people died because of what he did. He should have been arrested immediately, but they didn't. And he almost managed to escape back to India, where he would have disappeared, never to be heard of again. So there's that. All right. What else did I have here? Do. Marco Rubio. Close this tab. Now we're going to get into the illegals. Marco Rubio has yanked student visas. Oh man, you dummy. You big dummy. Here we go. Rubio State Department yanks more than 6,000 student visas due to assault, burglary, and support for terrorism. Students who publicly participated in pro-Palestinian protests have faced heightened scrutiny. The State Department's yanked more than 6,000 visas in student visas in 2025 for overstays and law violations, including support for terrorism. The Trump administration has launched multiple initiatives aimed at cracking down on immigration and revoking visas of those who attending academic institutions in the U.S. Those who participate in pro-Palestinian protests have faced the heightened scrutiny, as well they should have. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio said in May that the administration was reviewing the visa status of those students, as they should be. The roughly 6,000 visas were pulled primarily due to visa overstays or encounters with the law, including assaults, DUI, burglary, support for terrorism. Every single student visa revoked has happened because the individual has broken the law. Oh, come on. Or expressed support for terrorism while in the U.S. About 4,000 visas alone have been revoked because these visitors broke the law while visiting our country, including records of assault and DUIs. Guess what? You go to another country on a visa, don't break their laws. Don't do it. Those who had their student visas yanked due to assault, roughly 800 students either faced arrest or charges stemming from assault. Supported terrorism between 200 and 300, such as raising funds for the militant group Hamas, which the U.S. State Department has designated as a terrorist organization. Altogether, the State Department told Fox Digital that approximately 40,000 visas have been pulled in 2025, in comparison to the 16,000 that were revoked in the same time frame under Biden. Well, that never made the news that Biden revoked 16,000 student visas. That never made the news, now did it? If that isn't something else. I did not know that until I read this article. However, the Democrats are pushing back on the Trump administration's efforts to revoke visas, asserting it is a violation of due process. I read the law back when this first started happening. When it comes to revoking visas, there is no due process. There is no due process. Let me clap my hands. Let's do that thing. There is no due process when it comes to revoking visas. That is at the sole discretion of the Secretary of State and the State Department. Sole discretion. The courts have nothing to say. While the courts have a say in the visa application process, once that visa's been approved and they've got that visa, revocation belongs solely to the State Department. And if you want, let's see here. Revocation, learn how to spell. Visa, sole discretion, State Department. Okay. Here we go. Revocation of a visa is sole discretion of the U.S. Department of State. A consular officer, the secretary, or department official authorized by the secretary can revoke a non-immigrant visa at any time. Recent changes have granted consular officers with increased authority to revoke previously approved visas, further emphasizing this discretion. CFR 41.122. There is not, that's it. End of conversation. I really wish these Congress critters, before they start making accusations, would understand the laws that they're claiming to exist. But they don't. The media does not step in and say that. I mean, Merkel made this claim, but does CNN here, and this is Fox News, does Fox News step in here and say, although revocation of visas lie at the sole discretion of the State Department? They don't, even Fox News doesn't step in here and tell you the facts. They let Merkel get away, Merkel, whatever, get away with making a claim that is baseless. So there's that. Diana Stancy, please do better. Please, please do better when you write your articles. I, One of the other things going that's, and let's touch on Washington D.C. Democrats have been yelling and screaming. They've been bringing in protesters from out of the district to protest what the Trump administration's done with bringing in the National Guard to clean up the streets. There's been videos made of by people biking through Washington. Oh man, this is supposedly so dangerous. We're riding our bikes through D.C. and I don't see any crime going on. Yada yada yada. These are people that they don't live in D.C. They were brought there. Well, D.C. residents have been responding. That's a good term. Letting things know from their own opinion what's been going on in DC. And here's one I found that this young lady just posted this recently. Okay.
Here in Union Station, as you can see behind me. Yes, 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 yes. And I walked through Union Station. It was different. See, I'm from DC. I live here. So I can tell you, I can be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. It was nice. I don't even want to leave. Union State, they literally, it feels different. Like usually when I walk through, it's got this odd darkness. It's like you're walking through some sort of semi demi hood at night. And now it feels more light, upbeat. It definitely feels safe. But see, I can say that because I'm from here. A lot of people that are here protesting, they're not from here. They don't even live here. So they wouldn't know on a daily day to day basis like I would and some of the other DC natives. But yeah, oh, I even saw U.S. Marshals up in Silver Spring. They rolled up on somebody. When I say they were stealthy, they were in regular cars. I'm not going to say too much, but they were in regular cars. I saw this guy throwing up these middle fingers. I was like, what's he doing? Is he tweaking? And I look, I kind of face where he's turned, and I see like 8 marshals, right?
Look at the happiness on her face. She's happy. This doesn't appear to be one of the DC elite walking through, that have got bodyguards with them when they go through DC. Doesn't have the DC police with them to ensure that the rabble stays away from them. That's not what this is not who this woman appears to be, but she looks happy. I feel happy looking at her.
And they got like 2 or 3 people. They were silent. Silent. And this is Maryland. Well, it's still considered the DMV because it's the metropolitan area, but it's Maryland. And they're doing their work. The tax dollars at work. Yes. And Union Station literally feels cleaner. It's nicer. I could literally take a walk around. You know the great big circle right here. Usually has a ton of homeless people. It's got the F Trump. Oh, the people who are saying F Trump, I'm sorry. They look dirty. They look like they stink, and it looks like a homeless encampment, just a little bit. I mean, it's giving homelessness. Let me see. See that tent right there, the red and white stripes. It's giving homeless encampment. And I think I saw somebody come out of there. They looked a little. It's like there's always this look to them.
I mean, look at this woman. I mean, she didn't have the artificial, the $90 claws put on her fingers. She's got normal fingernails, normal paint. She's wearing a sweatshirt. She just, she gives normal person vibes. But she's happy. She's not filming the you know the crooks on the street aren't there.
It's like I don't want to say mental illness, but it's like this like mental health crisis look. Anyway, I saw they had like this great big banner. It says F Trump, and the guy's gonna be there for 4 years. Y'all ain't gonna do anything. And there's a sign saying, "Release the Epstein." What are you guys gonna do if you have the list? Dance around it. You can't do anything about it. You can't even hold the people within your general group. You can't hold up. I had a millennial pause right there.
Okay, I'm that's all from that I'm going to show right now. But yeah, this is some of the people, is it, and don't forget, it wasn't that long ago that New York brought in the National Guard for the New York subway. Okay, it wasn't that long ago. Governor Kathy Hochul put the appointment of 1,000 National Guard troops to conduct bag searches for weapons and improve safety for communities. And this included 750 members specifically assigned to help the New York Police Department check bags at subway entrances. The increased presence aims to address concerns about crime and safer environment for subway riders. So it's not the first time the National Guard has been used because crime in an area had gone up. And they brought in the Guard to help the police to get it under control. And Washington, D.C. is part of the federal government. It's not a state. And everything that goes on in D.C. eventually rolls through the federal government. Whether you like to admit it or not, whether the D.C. mayor or the D.C. city council wants to admit it or not, they serve at the pleasure of the government. So there are people who are actually happy about this. Now, just for the lighter side, just for the lighter side here, okay. For a moment. Oh man, here we go. I grew up. I mean, I grew up with a garden. I grew up with a farm. All right, we grew our own tomatoes. And when the tomatoes, I mean, fried green tomatoes was the thing, fresh out of the garden, sliced up, battered up, fried up. And tomato sandwiches fresh out of the garden with leaf lettuce fresh from the garden, butter, salt, pepper, and mayonnaise, 2 slices of Wonder Bread. I mean, you could not get any better. Well, this woman here on the screen, she had never had a tomato sandwich in her life. And she works with a old white woman. And she got talked about Mater sandwiches. And this young lady, never heard of a Mater sandwich. So the older white woman brought in some tomatoes and gave to her that weren't fully ripe yet and talked her through ripening them. Then she finally got a couple that are fully ripe enough to make the tomato sandwich. And this is her first ever bite of a tomato sandwich.
To make sure I get some plain potato chips. Oh, I got it. All right, y'all. I'm gonna try the one that's not toasted first.
Now, I've already seen this, but I want y'all to try to consider for yourself. It's butter, mayonnaise, salt, and pepper. That's all she has on the and white bread. That's all she has on these sandwiches. Nothing else. No bacon, no lettuce, just tomato, salt, pepper, butter, mayo. I don't know if she's using Hellman's or Duke's or whatever. She's thinking about it. She's thinking. She's wondering.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Big old bite there.
That's it. This is good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, this is good. And I'm not capping. I'm gonna tell the truth. Oh my god. Who would have thought? A damn tomato sandwich would be good.
Yeah, who would have thought who would have ever thought that a tomato fresh, fresh grown, not store bought tomato, but a fresh grown tomato would be good? Whoever would have thought that? Boy, that was a huge bite she just took.
I'm hooked. All that work we went through, it's well damn worth it. This shit is really damn good. I gotta tell my coworker.
Now, this she's got another tomato sandwich over here where she toasted very lightly toasted that bread. But that's another tomato sandwich. The other one's not toasted at all, just plain bread.
I'm sorry it's taking so long, but this is really good. Let me try it. Let me toast it.
The simple things, the simple.
Oh, this shit is really good. Oh my god. It's good, y'all. Toasted and plain. They're both good. And with the chips, add a cherry on top. Last bite, y'all.
She destroyed them two sandwiches. Rolled into a ball and deep fried? Roll what into a you don't roll that tomato sandwich into a ball and deep fry it. But man, I mean, I just love a good tomato sandwich. I really and truly do. Nice beefsteak tomato. Now she didn't have beefsteak tomatoes, but a nice beefsteak tomato, salt, pepper, Hellman's mayonnaise. Can't go wrong. You just cannot go wrong with that. Okay, let's see here. What was this other video I wanted to show? Okay. Okay, here we go. This poor young lady here. All right, people. If you ever have a job that you have a security lanyard, Well, first of all, never record yourself at work unless you have your boss's, the owner's permission, not your manager's permission, and definitely not your own permission unless you own the business. But if you work for the government or you work in an airport or you work in a bank, don't record yourself doing your job. You can lose it. Don't record yourself doing your job and then posting it on the internet. Because sad things happen.
I love my job. I would have never done anything to jeopardize it.
I lost my job. I never would have done anything to jeopardize it. Okay. Well, all right. Come to work with me at LAX as a MAC manager with no trending audio, timestamps included. Okay? So she's going to record herself doing her day at LAX. There she is, waving her little ID tag, to allow her to walk around LAX without getting any kinds of trouble. Going through the TSA pre-check so that she can get down to her store. And there she is, getting into the safe, counting the money.
Have a good day, y'all.
Opening her business.
Oh, fun. We going to visit, or is that where we're from?
That's home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to stop by and say hi. What's your name?
I'm Jenny.
I'm Bree. Nice to meet you.
Logging in, how much money she made, what kind of sales she made, and how much the sales were.
What are we looking at?
What are we looking at? So we're out of NC-17. That's probably what it was. We're out of NC-17. You want me to make you a sample of it, though? That way you can... I got you. Babe, did you want to take a picture of the bottle and the color? Yeah. That way we know for next time. Here you go, my love. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You have a great day.
This is syrup that you're going with, right? Yes. This is Whirl. She is a little bit darker, but it's perfect because once this mixed together.
Mascara running and everything else. 11 a.m. fired. Now you would think, okay, what all did this woman do? Okay, stop sharing this. You see, this isn't the first time that this woman recorded her videos. Okay. Come back over here to her channel. On TikTok. This is the one where she just got fired. Here she is again. Here she is again at work. Here she is again at work. Here she is again at work. She's at work. She's at work. She's going to work. She's at work. She's at work. She recorded several videos of herself at work. What time she got to work, when she had how much money she had in her uh, cash, how much money she picked up for her cash register, how much money she dropped at night, what time she went to make the drops. She showed all that. And then she wonders why she got fired. Don't do this at work if you want to keep your job, people. Especially telling people what the name of the store is you work and where it is. Security, especially at LAX. Now, there's been a lot of commentary about this afterwards. People that work security, used to work security, worked at other stores there in LAX or at other airports around the country. And they all basically say the same thing. This was bound to happen as soon as her bosses found out that she was doing it. As soon as somebody reported her, either to LAX or to her bosses, she was going. Her getting fired was a sure thing. So many people these days put so much of their lives out there on the internet. Now, I share quite a bit about myself, probably a little bit more than I should, but I do share quite a bit about myself. Okay. But I haven't shared my name. I haven't done a face reveal. I haven't given out my address. I mean, y'all know I live in the Panhandle of Florida, and the eastern portion of the Panhandle, being as I got hit by uh, Michael a few years back. Y'all know I'm retired military, retired Air Force. And I suppose I have inadvertently given out more than enough information. If somebody really wanted to do a deep dive and dox me, they could. But I don't think I've made enough enemies for that to happen. I only know of a couple, 3 enemies that I've made, or people that have chosen to dislike me enough. But what she did, I mean, she was begging to get fired. That's all I can say. So anyway, uh okay, well, another court decision. Court of Appeals blocks West Texas A&M from enforcing drag show ban. That absolutely sucks. A college wants to ban drag shows on the campus, and a court of appeal says, nope, you gotta let them do it. That there's enough there to make me feel sad. Okay. You know that how to put this. Women are mean. Women, especially ex-girlfriends, can be mean. Let me get this shared here. He was overdue for oil. Woman glittered ex's AC vents and poured salt in the engine, destroying the car after fight. This young lady here, a 31-year-old pregnant woman from Kentucky, was arrested after she destroyed her ex-boyfriend's car by pouring salt in the engine, slashing his tires, and putting glitter into his air conditioning vents. Stephanie Carlquist, there's no pairing that at all, who was smiling gleefully in her official mugshot, was charged with 1 count of first-degree criminal mischief. Now, that's well beyond criminal mischief. It's destroying the man's car. She caused thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage. Under state law, first-degree criminal mischief is a Class D felony that occurs when an individual intentionally or wantonly destroys or damages any property causing a loss of $500 or more, and carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a fine up to $10,000. The damage to the ex-boyfriend's car is inflicted on 2 separate days in July. On July 6th, she slashed one of the tires to prevent him from leaving her home. She allegedly returned the vehicle sometime after July 15th, when she's accused of pouring salt in the engine and glittering the air conditioning vents, which shattered his windshield, rearview mirrors, and radio screen. $12,464 in damages. But ultimately, they determined the vehicle was completely damaged beyond repair. According to the Richmond police, Carquist spoke to the driver of the tow vehicle when he arrived at the home to pick up the ex-boyfriend's car. During the conversation, she admitted to destroying the vehicle. The tow truck driver then called the ex-boyfriend's mother, who co-owned the damaged car, and informed her about Carquist's admission. The mother also obtained messages sent by Carlquist to her son through Instagram, which she confessed and apologized for damaging the vehicles, telling her ex that she was just stressed out due to being pregnant. Carquist's father also sent the boyfriend a text message confirming his daughter was responsible for damaging the car. Ladies, don't mess with somebody's car. How is he supposed to get back and forth to work? And if he's the father of your unborn baby, how is he supposed to support you and that baby? And at this point, why would he want to be with you? Why? And I'm sorry, but if I was a judge and he decided to run from you, not have nothing to do with you, I would be leery about even making him pay child support. Because you did this to him. Why should you be rewarded with child support when you done that, when you destroyed his car? Should she go to prison for this? Yes. Yes, she should. Well, she's pregnant. So? So? Give the baby to her parents. Give the baby to the father if the father wants him. She's unfit to be a mother. She's unfit to be in a relationship. Anyway, yeah, you're right. At least it's a college and not a grad school, but still. That's all I'm going to cover with today. I want y'all to have a good one. Data, enjoy yourselves. Ramen, yes, you're right. She is a special kind of evil. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with. Have a good one. Friday Fun Stream tomorrow.